If you put your left foot down in training, and it's your left foot is on the ground on purpose, the bike's supposed to be leaning, your right foot's supposed to be on the rear brake, illuminating the light behind you, so people know that you're stopped. And you always have the clutch engaged, always, because you need to know whether or not you're going to get rear-ended. As soon as you change that habit, it's game over.
Something goes wrong. And what your father said to you about you shouldn't take lessons because you don't know anything.
Correct.
It's exactly the opposite. If we don't know nothing, we do take classes, right? So,
Duh!
And the other thing I'll pick on a little bit is accidental fire. So we don't call it accidental fire in class, or even how to refer to it as that. It's negligent discharge.
Well, yes, it's negligence. It's all negligence.
So all this stuff that happens out there, if I put a gun on the table and I leave it there, it's not going to shoot you.
No, it's not.
It has no mind. It's amoral. It sits there like a piece of metal, and it doesn't do anything until I act on it, right?
Yes, and the other thing is he's going to put it, when he sets it on the table, it's either going to be pointing away, it's going to have a safety on, or it's going to be unloaded.
And the finger will not be on the trigger. It will not be pointed at you.
Correct.
Like, I'm not going to point it.
We're not playing spin the gun.
So there is unfortunately, there's no such thing as accidents. There is just lack of proper training, which is why we're here today and why we're talking about even starting that at a really, really early age. There are people that I have met in my classes that I would trust less than I would trust my youngest daughter with a gun.
Everything in life, I believe this, I've always believed this, everything in life happens for a reason. I had never really been around firearms until I met Lamar. And even with this whole little toy gun incident, yes, it's funny when you think about it, but it's also very dangerous because, again, it could have been a lot worse. But what it did for me is it gave me a whole new respect to how quick accidents can happen and how to safely protect yourself and your family, your loved ones, and respect the instrument, the firearm.
There is a piece of scripture in the Bible that says that he who is faithful with little is faithful with much. What that means is if you will take a small thing, a toy, and you can be good with that, that will translate into something that is more dangerous, like an actual firearm.
That's also Buddhism, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because they talk about...
Many of those religions seem to...
Yeah, because the
Bible.
Chinese have the money tree. If you love and respect the money tree, it will grow and it will prosper and provide value and prosperity within your business. But in reality, if you are taking care of that, chances are you're taking care of everything else as well. Yeah.
So the number one point to make is just that if I can treat a piece of plastic that doesn't even have a place to put a dart or a pellet or anything, if I can treat that with respect and I can learn on that, I certainly will do it with the real thing.
Correct.
And when we start our kids off at a very, very early age, they're going to take those habits and they're going to pass them on to their kids.
First thing we did when we were kids is we pointed guns at other people. In fact, it's so funny. The only person in the family that actually has firearms, on my side of the family, actually has firearms. I remember I pointed my toy gun at him when I was about 6, 7, 8 years old. I pointed my toy gun at him. He took it and broke it in half. And I never had toy guns ever since.
Yep. It's you see all the movies with the shooting with the dart guns and the shooting with the BB guns and stuff. We've all had people in our lives that have done stuff like that, but it really is the wrong way. We wonder why we have these accidents. We promoted stuff like that, and then we promoted no education.
But then not only that, we have these games like Call of Duty, where the entire intent of the game is to shoot guns at people and kill people. Then we have the shoot 'em up movies. Everybody thinks they're John Wick. Everyone thinks that if they're in a situation, they can do what John Wick does. But John Wick is a cartoon, basically.
He's not somebody that
He's
exists.
just an actor.
He's a fictitious guy, and I think it's okay to watch those type of things if you know what they are, but if you're gonna have guns, have that education and pass it on to your kids, man. It's like the thing is, if you want to stop kind of this cycle of violence, you have the people that we don't enjoy in politics. They go after, hey, let's make some gun laws. Hey, let's make some gun laws. Who follows laws? Law-abiding citizens.
Of course.
Criminals don't follow laws.
Correct.
If you really want to stop all the stuff that goes on,
It's all education.
Education from an early age,
Correct.
and then they'll take that like.
It's the same
look
thing.
Look at me,
with,
I took my education.
It's the
from
same
my
thing.
parents.
You want to be a successful business owner. You want to quit being poor. You want to not make minimum wage. Then go buy a book and learn what money is and how to create it.
Train yourself.
Correct. Once you have the education on what money is, you can create as much of it as you want. Do you think I look at what the gas prices are? I don't care.
Everything requires some form of training, and you had actually mentioned a couple articles to me as well.
Yes,
which I think we should really touch on.
Yeah, let's touch on these.
One of them was in Oakland, and I believe that the shop owner had a firearm in his shop,
Mhm.
which is legal in California.
Correct.
So I can have, if my employer says I can have a gun, or if I own a place of business where I'm staying, I can have a loaded firearm and I
Correct.
can defend myself.
Correct.
If I don't have a concealed carry permit, I can't carry that thing outside of the shop.
Correct.
Right? Also, I am permitted with a firearm, whether it's in my shop or whether I'm a concealed carry in the regular world outside in the streets, I can protect myself from great bodily harm or death, or I can protect you or somebody else, even somebody I don't know.
Correct.
That is perfectly okay. We can do that.
Okay.
When what this gentleman did was he saw somebody who was in peril, who was being robbed,
Okay.
and he decided to leave the shop with his gun and fire shots. The problem becomes he doesn't have a concealed carry permit, so he can't be outside of the shop doing that.
Okay.
The other problem becomes he's protecting property. There was not really an indication that she was in
Dangerous.
danger of death or great bodily
Right.
harm. She was in danger of losing property.
Okay. Her purse was being stolen or
Right.
something.
It was purse or camera. It was a camera, I think. It might have been.
I don't
It was something. I can't remember exactly, but it was personal property.
Okay.
They were going to steal that. In the state of California, you are never going to be allowed to defend property with deadly force.
Correct.
If you walk outside, someone's stealing your car, and you decide to shoot them, you have a problem.
Take the car. Please.
The other thing is, if I go,
Please take the car. I'll just go buy a new one,
Right.
and then I feel like I'm happy again. I got a clean car.
if I go out there right now, I do have a concealed carry, and somebody is stealing my car, and I draw my firearm on them, and then they decide to pull a knife on me, and I then have to shoot them, I could be guilty of a crime at that point. The other really, really, really important thing to remember is, as far as California state law goes and how serious things are, you can be charged with attempted murder for merely pointing a gun at someone.
Correct.
So, really,
Correct.
when that thing comes out and it's pointed at someone, anything that happens doesn't matter.
Fake guns too.
Yep. It's attempted.
Fake guns too.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now, a lot of those things, they get put down because they're fake guns, sure. But if you do truly point a real gun at someone and that goes to court and that's proven,
Correct.
you're going to be charged with murder. Or
I
attempted murder.
thought about carrying a little Nerf gun in my car, and then somebody would cut me off, and I just roll the window down, and I just shoot little Nerf, and then on their window they have these little suctions. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I didn't hear that. Now you have to go back to class again.
I'm kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. No, you can't do that stuff, guys. As much as it sounds fun or harmless, this is where the education comes in. And in all reality, you think that it's okay because you don't know what you don't know. That's again why you have professionals that come in and do these things.
Right. Absolutely. And then the education needs to be there, and then you need to take that and you need to pass it on. The other article that you mentioned I thought was pretty interesting. It was this 12-year-old boy. That there was a break-in the house. The grandmother was shot.
Grandma was shot.
And this little boy was taught how to handle firearms properly. He saw that there was a danger to him and his family, and he was able to shoot one of the assailants.
Killed him.
So now, do we really want 12-year-olds to have to live with the burden of killing people? We don't.
No.
But if someone if it's his life or that person's life, he had to make that choice. So
Right.
Here is a person who at 12 years old is mature enough to understand what that continuum is and where he was at. This is where good training comes from. Obviously, his parents trained him the right way.
Correct.
They told him, hey, this is not something. It's not something he feared. It's not something he went right for. He said, okay, this is a tool they taught me about.
You
This is
see
what's
it all the
happening.
time in movies where
Yep.
they point the gun and they're shaking and they can't do it. And again, that's just not properly trained.
Yeah,
know.
it should be what we build in when we train is muscle memory. So if I can come and I can shoot at the paper and I can continue to do those sort of things, I can understand how my body reacts when I'm in these stress situations. Those little fine motor skills do go away, but your gross motor skills are enough to keep you alive. Many times when you have that training, that's the difference between life and death. I mean, it's that simple as that. This is why law enforcement officers mostly survive incidents where they're being assailed by other people, because they're trained, hey, well, don't really want to go shoot someone, but at this point,
I
zero
knew a
choice.
guy, I don't know if the story was true, but I don't know why he would lie to me, but he got pulled over for speeding one day. And he opened up his wallet and he had his NRA stuff in there, and the officer goes, so you shoot? And he goes, yeah, I'm actually an expert sharpshooter or something along those lines. And he was a really good shot. But he goes, I'll make you a deal. He goes, don't write me the ticket yet. He goes, Saturday, let's go shoot. If I win, then I don't get a ticket. If you win, then I do get a ticket. The cop goes, you know what? That actually sounds like a pretty fair thing. At this point, he can't give him the ticket anyway.
Right.
On Saturday.
Once that's happened, it's over.
But he's like, you know what? Let's do it.